This is Duke University.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please remain standing. On behalf of the faculty and staff, I present to you the Fuqua School of Business Master of Management Studies Class of 2015. Please be seated. Every day, oh, lost some seats. Every day at the Fuqua School of Business is a great day. Today is a spectacular day as we honor our graduates and all that they have accomplished. I know that for all of you, there have been moments that have been tough, there have been bumps, there have been setbacks. I think we warned you that that would happen. It only made you better, it only made you stronger, and I think there's also been a little bit of fun along the way as well. How fitting is it that here we are in Cameron when you are only the second MMS class to celebrate a year in which the men's basketball team won a national championship. And the first MMS class to leave the #1 ranked business school. I'm especially happy that we have the people who are here to support you, that we have friends and family who made your journey possible. And so we welcome all of you. We're thrilled that you can be a part of this very special day. I also would like to thank the faculty and staff who've done so much, who've invested so much in your experience and care so deeply about your potential. We think that you will go on to achieve amazing things, and this is only a way station on the way to magnificent achievements. So welcome to all, and now I'd like to introduce Carter Boyle, our MMS class president, who will make the announcement for the MMS Best Teaching Award.
Thank you, Bill, for the introduction. And I'm going to offer a few brief remarks and then present the award for the excellence in teaching this year. So during my senior year at Duke, Coach K brought everyone in here into Cameron. He had us sit right there, and it was the night before the Carolina game. And as he customarily does, he gave us an impassioned speech about the significance of the game and the rivalry and about the importance of the team's accomplishments. And he pointed up at the rafters, at all the banners that you see hanging above you. And he delivered his main message, which I'll never forget to this day. He looked in our eyes and he said, in 20 years, you'll be able to come back here to Cameron with your family, your friends, your children. You'll be able to look up and point at those banners and say, we did this. We won this. That is my banner. He pointed at all of us and he said, all of you, like my players, are just as much a part of these accomplishments. Class of 2015, look up, because we're going to hang a banner right there. We did this. All of us, we did this together. And while that banner will celebrate Duke's 5th national championship, it also commemorates the year we shared together as the 6th MMS class in Fuqua history. Over these 10 months, we've left a legacy and have helped build this growing program. We've certainly had our ups and downs together, that can't be questioned. But most importantly, we became true Blue Devils together and members of Team Fuqua. And guess what? In 5, 10, 20 years, we're going to come back to Fuqua. We're going to look around at what MMS has become, and we're going to tell our families, we did this. I couldn't be prouder of the year we've had together. We enjoyed the quintessential Duke experience, all in 10 way too short months. Thank you again for trusting me to represent and lead this class. It truly has been an honor. Let's go Duke. Anyways, to the business at hand, allow me to introduce the recipient of our Excellence in Teaching Award, which has been voted on collectively by the class of 2015. I think we could all agree that many of our professors this year could receive this award because we go to Fuqua. We've had the best teachers in the world, the best this community has to offer. This professor, however, demonstrated a unique ability to us to captivate us, and with his unwavering passion and enthusiasm, make every day during that semester a bit better, both inside and out of the classroom. To those in the audience that never had the privilege of sitting in his class, probably the best way to describe this professor is that he had more fun teaching us than just about anybody else. Without further ado, let me introduce you to someone who, like many of us here, just finished his first year at Fuqua, Professor Ramon Torres.
Hi guys, wow. So listen, thank you very much for this great honor you've given me. I almost forgot how to speak English, even Spanish. Seriously, thank you so much for engaging in my class, in my course. Thank you so much for engaging on a personal level. Thank you so much for adding my picture of my teaching techniques in your yearbook. I've been getting a lot of attention thanks to that teaching, thanks to that picture. Seriously, thank you very much for these amazing 6 weeks and for this incredible time that we spent together. And congratulations for graduating on your program. Thank you.
Yeah, he's the man. So in the spirit of giving back to Fuqua and paying it forward, I want to introduce several individuals who spearheaded our class gift campaign and got us almost a full contribution percentage, which honestly, that was pretty darn good, and they killed it recently. So without further ado, let me introduce Usman, Vrinda, and Megan, and they'll present the class gift.
Good evening. On behalf of the MMS class of 2015, we would like to present Dean Boulding and the Fuqua School of Business with this gift to the Fuqua Annual Fund. The Fuqua Annual Fund supports the school's top priorities, which include scholarships, research, and global initiatives. This year, we raised $2,246 with a 94% participation. Class of 2015, thank you for your support and everything you've done this year.
Thank you so much for not only investing yourselves fully in making this place better through your sweat equity and what you've done this year, but also to invest in the people who will follow you. We deeply appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hi again. So, our graduation speaker. To all of us sitting here in our caps and gowns, she needs a little introduction, but allow me to offer a few brief words on Cameron's behalf for those of you in the audience. As a fellow 2011 graduate, Cameron graduated from Georgetown. She and I, along with a few others, are the elder statesmen of MMS. In that sense, it makes me especially proud that our class collectively chose her to speak on our behalf. Cameron's one of the most eloquent and hardworking members of the class of 2015, and she wholly deserves this honor and opportunity. I can't wait to hear the message she has in store for us. Cameron?
Thank you, Carter, for that introduction. We've actually been texting each other all afternoon, calming each other's nerves, saying, I can't wait to be up here, so thank you so much. This year in the MMS program has truly been a special experience in my life, and I am so grateful to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of our class. One of the smartest, most talented, and as Scott said to us on our last day of managerial accounting, most social group of people I have ever had the privilege to be a part of. There are so many people here who've played a part in making this year wonderful, and I'd like to begin by thanking Russ, Steve, and Miranda, our career counselors, and our professors for all of their work in challenging and encouraging us throughout this year. And I especially want to thank our friends and families for their support and being here to celebrate. There are many families here who've traveled a long way, in some cases making the trek from China, India, even Australia, to be here with us. Now, my parents just flew down from New York today, but the emotional journey they've taken to be here was rather significant, especially for my father. I am the only one in my family to have not gone to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill for college. So you can imagine the kind of anti-Duke propaganda I was subjected to throughout my childhood. I've always treasured my status as black sheep of the family, but this year it has come to real fruition. I wore so many pieces of contraband Duke apparel at home that I was told I had to stop if I wanted to continue to be welcome. And when I called my father to tell him I'm going to be the graduation speaker and it's in Cameron, he replied, also failing to acknowledge the irony that this stadium and his only daughter share the same name. Oh, it's in Cameron? I don't think I can make it. So my dad is right. He's right up there. And I don't know if you can tell, but he has some traces of Carolina blue, just very subtle, but on his tie. Thank you, Dad, for being here. I know how hard this is for you. As is evidenced by my testimony, Carter's wish as our class president for us all to come together and embrace the Duke experience has really come true. A year ago today, some of us were finishing our final classes in undergrad, both in the United States and around the world. Many of us were accomplishing impressive athletic achievements, from softball to lacrosse to baseball to soccer. There are too many sports and too many names to list. While others of us, like Aparna Rao, were working for hotels in Las Vegas, or Julio Stewart for networks in New York, or even like Megan Russell for agricultural businesses in Texas. I think we all didn't quite know what to expect from the MMS program back in July. I remember my teammate Aaron Zhao describing when he first landed in Durham from China, he went to the bottom floor of the airport looking for the subway, only to soon realize Durham was not the city he had imagined. Others of us were very familiar with Durham, having completed undergraduate degrees here, and were unsure of what a fifth year would be like. I came to the MMS program after proclaiming I would never attend business school and spending the last 3 years teaching high school English in Texas. Like my classmates, I was ready to push myself and work hard this year, but I was hesitant as to how I would fit in, having come from teaching and, as Carter mentioned, being just a few years older. Then Usman Chaudhry, to my absolute horror, told me I was kind of like the mom of the program, and I think that was just his way of welcoming me, I hope. Of course, we all began the year with different apprehensions and different goals, but as it does when special people come together to do something hard, our solidarity emerged quickly. I remember those first nights at the Heights pool, all of us tentatively gathering in circles, asking one another the same question over and over. We moved into our first set of classes, and I distinctly recall one of our first days in accounting. All of us were internally experiencing a very same specific sense of terror as we collectively prayed Bill would not cold call on us. And then we breathed one collective sigh of relief as Jeff Ritter volunteered to answer when no one else knew. We helped each other through interview preparation and difficult cases and saying goodbye to our friends who left for China. Team Fuqua moved from abstraction to concrete reality. In January, there were about 30 of us in the computer lab at school running one unsuccessful crystal ball simulation after another before our first assignment was due in decision models. And people like Hunter Knight, who had completed the assignment well before, went from computer to computer to computer to help each of us figure out the mystery that is that software. We celebrated the end of exams, completion of projects, one another's job offers, national championships, and even 3 engagements together. And sometimes we just celebrated Tuesday nights because we're young and alive, and why not? Today, however, we have good reason to celebrate. As I watched team after team present our final projects and financial analysis, valuations of the company Best Buy, a few weeks ago, and I saw all of us speaking confidently about the accuracy of betas or the appropriateness of certain multiples, these concepts we've been working all year to master, I thought that we had truly demonstrated what our professors have enabled us to do: analyze a business and then articulate those findings successfully. And as we move forward into our careers, we are better for the last 10 months and carry with us friendships that will last much longer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carter and Cameron, for those great remarks. I'll give you a second to get reseated. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you the commencement speaker, Susan Chambers. Susan is the Executive Vice President of the Global People Division for Walmart. So she is one of the most important people for one of the most important companies in the world. And that's not enough to be our graduation speaker. We want someone who has interesting experiences, who has accomplished a great deal, who has wisdom, who is a role model, and if we're lucky, they've got a deep connection to Duke. And if you look at Susan, she checks every one of those boxes, not just scraping by, but she does it with like fluorescent pen. So for example, in her role as Executive Vice President, she's dealing with 2.2 million people. That's her charge, 2.2 million people. I mean, that's bigger than some countries. And those people, in turn, are dealing with 25 million customers a week. So the scale is incredible. The responsibility that comes with having so much reach is just phenomenal and leads to incredible wisdom, and she has had great accomplishment. She has wisdom in terms of what it means to be a great leader. And when she talks about servant leadership, she rightly notes that servant leadership is not the absence of pride, but rather the presence of humility. In a world where we see so many business leaders who seem to be self-serving and selfish in their behavior, she understands that the great leaders are the ones who show true humility. She also understands that the way to succeed is through other people. And if you're going to create great teams, you have to love the people around you. And every day she comes into work, her motto is people first. And because she puts people first, she has had incredible success in her career. She's also, luckily for us, deeply connected to the business school. She served on our board for a number of years now and has been a great board member in terms of the wisdom and insight that she provides. And so we have someone who has accomplished great experiences, great insights, and above all, a wonderful role model for all of you, because when we choose a graduation speaker, we want to choose someone where you say, when I grow up, I want to be like that person. And I can think of no finer leader than Susan Chambers, a true global leader of consequence. Susan?
So, Dean Boulding, faculty, family, friends, congratulations to you, but especially to the class of 2015, both here in this room and those that are participating beyond. Way to go. What a huge accomplishment that we're celebrating with you today. To pick up on some of the things that Cameron was talking about, it sounds like it's been an incredible year that started with a really hot July. I don't know if you recall, but I heard it was pretty tough, but not so much so to deter you from some very interesting things that you did as a team. Like I heard there was a wall climbing exercise. You were tethered. You survived. And it sounds like you learned a lot about each other, about yourself and about each other, and it was the beginning of this team that has so obviously formed. It sounds like there were quite a few sports-related things. Did you try to go to a soccer game? Did it get rained out? It was out of the area, Chapel Hill. You camped out for tickets in tents and U-Hauls, is that right? But participated in a number of games, including the overtime thriller here in Cameron with UNC. And some of you maybe even sat through your first snowstorm as you waited to get in. There was something that, I was a Girl Scout, but I've never heard of Fuqua Wood Derby. I hope there were winners here in the audience. And of all years, you were here when Duke brought home the national championship. It doesn't get much better than that. But as amazing as that collection of experiences are that you participated in, as you know so well, you were also investing in a very serious, significant education. I'm familiar with the rigor, and it is spot on in terms of what companies are looking for and need. But I don't have to speak to the rigor specifically because I get to be on the receiving side of. I'm a recipient of the product of the Fuqua Business School. We hire from business schools across the country, actually across the world. And the most successful business grads that we hire come from Fuqua. Because those graduates, you're smart, you're competitive, you're fierce, you're curious. You know that integrity is at the core of everything that matters, and you know how to collaborate. And anybody that gets you is going to be hugely advantaged by this collection of experience and education that you acquired while you were here getting this MMS degree. It was a wise decision. So, Dean Boulding mentioned that I have some responsibility for people. I think it's important as a Chief Human Resource Officer, I love that my title is about global people. And yes, it is 2.2 million associates taking care of, it's even a slightly bigger number, Dean Boulding, 250 million customers a week worldwide. I get the millions and billions confused myself on occasion. But the point is, that doesn't make me an expert in really much of anything, but it does give me the benefit of volume. We get a chance to see a lot of failures and successes and relationships and really observe from that, conclude from that, what are the things that best lead to a successful individual, a successful company. And I don't think it will surprise you. The one common denominator here is people. So if I might, I'd like to share a few experiences, a few things that I've learned from Walmart in the 16 years that I've been there. So let me start with the number one priority that I have day in and day out, and that's developing people. What does that mean? It means making sure that people have the functional and the leadership competencies and capabilities that they need to do their job. Now, in our stores, where in the US we have 1.3 million associates working, we do a lot to prepare our store leadership to be successful in terms of taking care of the customer, keeping the environment safe, making sure that we comply with all the laws. Now, it's almost a year ago, it was Father's Day a year ago, a gentleman received a gift for Father's Day. He received a cockatoo. And as luck would have it, and as for reasons that continue to be unclear to us, the day he received his cockatoo, he decided to take it to Walmart. He put the cockatoo on his shoulder and went into his local store. And as the store manager approached him to try to understand the purpose, the business of a cockatoo coming into the store, the cockatoo up and flew away. And it flew straight into our deli, into a clear plastic wall, and slid into a deep fat fryer. We prepared that store manager for a lot of things, but not that particular occurrence. It was awful. Every time I tell the story, I have to clutch something. But that store manager, who had been prepared for so many things, knew to take care of the gentleman that lost his bird. He was nearly inconsolable. There were people traumatized in the area that observed this, and we did quickly shut down the deli for 2 days. The point is, the lesson to that story is, be prepared and know that you'll be surprised. Another lesson from Walmart. I understand that many of you have jobs. You've received offers, you have jobs, you're good to go, and you know what you're going to do next. Fantastic. Congratulations. I know that a number of you don't yet have a position or necessarily know what you're going to do next. And to you, I would also say, fantastic. Good for you. Because the fact is, it's still all in front of you, all of it, for all of you. Now, some people do a fantastic job, a brilliant job of being prepared and being very consistent in the career that they develop and they take forward, and I'm not one of those people. I started out as a music major, a vocal performance major that was going to sing a lot of opera, and it didn't work out for me. And so the first job that I took was giving tours in a manufacturing plant for $7,000 a year. But the fact is, that opened up an opportunity to work for a great company, Hallmark Cards, that then trained me to be a programmer. I got into a number of different technology opportunities. I came to Walmart, where I managed all the merchandising systems and replenishment systems, and they saw that I was good at problem solving, so then they gave me the $10 billion retirement portfolio to manage, healthcare, global security, aviation, and I've been in this position now for 9 years. There isn't a single thing there that I would have known to pick or would have chosen for myself, but it's better than anything I could have come up with. I'm far happier than anything I might have crafted on my own. And so the message to you, the lesson for you, is whether you are going into something specific or you end up doing something that wasn't quite what you planned to do, be open to all the possibilities, because the possibilities are endless to you. A third experience that I had at Walmart, when I first started with the company and I'd been there 1 month, the CIO called me down to his office. And I went into the office, sat down, very excited, thinking this is some great career opportunity for me. He was rifling through a report, didn't actually make eye contact with me, and just asked me a question. So what are you going to do? And I was really thrilled to tell him all the amazing projects and responsibility I had and all the things that I was going to be tackling and doing for Walmart. And he let me go for about 30 seconds, and then he just held up his hand to stop. And it was really quiet for a while. And then he said again, so what are you going to do? And I knew enough that I probably didn't understand the essence of the question. I said, I'm really sorry, Randy, I have no idea what you're asking me about. So he sat back in the chair and he started talking about the history of the company and the most significant events that had really caused us to be successful. A lot of things that we started and failed, but ultimately led to things like adding a supercenter or going into different countries. And he talked about all those significant events and the people that caused them to happen. And then he stopped, and he looked at me, and he said, "So what are you going to do?" Now, at the time I had that conversation with him, I was 40 years old, and it was the first time that anybody had ever posed that question. And the fact is, I wish I had known at your age what I was learning at that point, which is you have the opportunity to do lots of wonderful things, but you need to lift your gaze and think of an even more impactful horizon of things that you have a chance to do to change the world. And so the lesson for you, what are you going to do? I have the fantastic opportunity of interviewing a lot of people for a lot of jobs. And the people that interview for jobs tend to come in two flavors. And to be honest with you, there is actually some gender alignment with what I'm about to say. So if I interview two people, let's say it's a man and a woman, and I know their backgrounds, I know what they're qualified for, and they come in to interview for the job. The woman will come in and interview for the position and initially and immediately start telling me, out of an abundance of transparency, all the things that she hasn't yet done, all the experience she hasn't yet collected. She leads with great honesty and transparency. I'll call her a spontaneous confessor. She means to do the right thing by making sure we understand what experience she hasn't yet collected. So a gentleman comes in right behind her and interviews for the same job. Now, both of these individuals are equally competent for the job. He starts off talking about all the jobs and all the things that he's done in his whole life that prepared him for this very moment and why he's exactly the right candidate for this job. He's no more qualified, but he is more confident. Success correlates as closely with confidence as it does competence. So you're being sent away from Fuqua with an amazing competence to add to your repertoire. Please be sure as you go forward that you're not a spontaneous confessor. Don't misrepresent your capabilities, but don't underrepresent them either. Don't lead with what you aren't. Lead with what you are. Lead with your strength. Be confident. Another lesson. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to hear from an individual that had been homeless for years and years and was now working for the Salvation Army. And he was speaking to a group of people, really trying to encourage them to make donations to the Salvation Army and to United Way. And at the end of his talk, when he was concluding with what at the end of the day he thought was most important, someone had asked him, "Well, what is your definition of success?" He said, "It's to love, it's to be loved, and it's to have meaningful work." A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to be with Warren Buffett for an hour in a car. The man could not get away from me. Just the two of us were on the way. He had spoken to a board meeting, and it was an opportunity. I was his handler. Picked him up at the airport and then took him back after he was done. We talked about a lot of different things. He's a friend of Walmart's, and we've had a chance to talk a number of times. We talked about politics. We talked about ukulele music. He's awesome on the ukulele. And we talked about an interview that he'd done a number of years ago that I'd read about, and I was asking him about it in the car. He was interviewed by a college grad who said, "Warren, what is your definition of success?" His answer was, and it was in the car again, it's still true, if the person that you want to have love you loves you, you're a success. Let me say that again. If the people that you want to have love you, you're a success. Now, these are two men that would come from very different examples of financial success. And they're saying essentially the same thing about what really matters. It's about love. It's about people. The message, I think, is knowing now and thinking about it, being intentional about it. What really matters to you? What's your definition of success? The last message. Archbishop Desmond Tutu's daughter came to speak to us a year or two ago, and she introduced a concept that I thought was amazing. And you may have heard of the term before, Ubuntu. It also happens to be an open Linux operating system. But I'm talking about philosophically, Ubuntu, which comes from Africa, and in the reference of it, the essence of it is, I am because you are. A person is a person through other people. A few years ago, one of our store managers was interviewing a woman for a job, and she was essentially unemployable. She had never worked. She had never had her own home. She lived in a car. And as we found out, she had had 7 children that she was deemed unfit to care for that had all been taken away from her. And so she sits in front of our store manager applying for a job. And he looked at her and saw something really special, a spark. There wasn't anything that justified him hiring her, but he did. And she started working in our store, and over the course of 18 months, she got 2 promotions. She got her first apartment. And over a period of that 18 months, one by one, she got each one of those kids back. So our store manager was just making a bet on somebody. He connected with somebody, but he didn't just change one life with making that decision. He changed 8 lives. And I think sometimes we're looking for something profound. And you know, the really amazing moments, the really special moments, you only know it in the rearview mirror. They don't seem to self-identify or call our attention to them in the moment. And the fact is, all these things that you have learned and these things that I've talked about, but the things that you've learned here at Fuqua, you knew when you came here. Your parents taught you. And hopefully, Team Fuqua and all the things that you've been exposed to here just reinforced the things that you already knew. The challenge, the trick, is doing those basic things every day. As I mentioned to you at the beginning, and I'll mention again, there are so many things that you're going to go do, so many people that you're going to come into contact with. And I just want to tell you now and remind you now how important it is being self-aware and knowing yourself, what's important to you, what matters to you, and being very mindful of being connected. Because when you connect with others in the world, you really can change the world. I'll close with just 2 quotes. They're my favorite. I understand that you've had the good fortune in the past of hearing from Maya Angelou here. She's one of my favorites. She's been at Walmart several times. One of her maybe most famous quotes is, "People won't remember what you said or even what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel." I think it's so true. And the last quote, which just builds on all of it, it too comes from South Africa. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I have every expectation that this class of 2015 is going to go far. Congratulations.
Susan, thank you so much for those wonderful and inspirational remarks. On behalf of the community, if I could give you this gift. And Ramon, I think you actually get something for the Best Teacher Award. And so if I could give you this. Thank you, guys. I'd now like to ask Russ Morgan to come to the podium for the special recognition of graduates.
Good evening, everyone. I have a few short remarks that tie into some things that you've already heard tonight, but it's hard to believe it's already time for you all to graduate. Time has flown by, but it's gratifying to see how much you guys have done, and I'm honored to be a part of what you've done this year and honored to celebrate with you guys as you walk across the stage tonight. Before you get to do that, I want to thank you all collectively for your whole class for a terrific year, and also recognize some of the individuals who stood out both academically and also those who made significant contributions to your class. First, I want to start by saying that the whole program team felt a very special connection with your class, and I speak not just for myself, but for Steve and Miranda and for Angela and Laura and the rest of the program team and all the faculty here. You guys are a small class, but it means we get to know you fairly intimately, and we feel like we go through this experience with you. We recognize that we asked you to do a lot this year, and we've asked you to trust us when we made all of these requests. Whether it was triangle training or working with your teams early, maybe on quantitative analysis or overcoming public speaking fears for some of you in your business communications, our hope was to stretch you and to extend you beyond your comfort zone. While you may have been uncomfortable at times, we pushed you because we believed in you. And we believed in you first because we saw the raw potential you had when you applied here, but we believe in you even more now that we've been able to see what you can do when you're at your best. Your best is actually pretty amazing, and we hope your Fuqua experience will help you operate at that level for all time. I recognize that life is not always perfect, and there may be times when you're not at your best, but on those occasions, I'm comforted to know that you have the close bonds with the people seated around you, and you can call on them at any time. And so from what Susan just told you about love, I think the one thing that you guys came away from here with is a very close class. That closeness is the defining association I do have for your class. You became personally closer than any of the other classes that we've had go through here. And I think that helped you embrace the collaborative environment that we have in Team Fuqua. The second association I'll forever have with all of you is one that everyone's mentioned, and that has to do with banners. And so be it Business Week #1 or the National Championship in basketball, you guys shared banners here. And so while Duke basketball became a meaningful part to the year, I want you to know that when I see a number 15 jersey, I won't think about the name Okafor being on the back, but I'll think about the number 15 being your class year and the best team possible on the back and the best teammates on the back. And if you remember the jerseys you have from the Duke basketball experience, that's Team Fuqua. So with that, thank you all for making this a special year for us. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge a number of today's graduates. For each graduating class, we recognize the top 10% of the class for academic achievement. These students are designated as Fuqua Scholars, and they're noted in your program. I'll read the names of the Fuqua Scholars alphabetically and ask that as I read each name, that person please stand in his or her place. I also ask the audience to please wait and indicate your support and congratulations after I've read them all. The Master of Management Studies class of 2015 Fuqua Scholars are Ting Ting Chen, Aaron Scott Cohn, Virendra Gupta, Saan Jang, Shinlen Lee, Alexander Milteni, Jorge Juan Primo Planta, Jeffrey Michael Ritter, Megan Renee Russell, Oninyi Udinze, Syed Kamil Zaida. Please join me in congratulating the Fuqua Scholars on this achievement. Thank you. Second, the students in the graduating class and the Fuqua administration nominate and select students for a number of awards based on contribution of service and leadership to the community. I'll read the names of the Dean's Leadership, the Dean's Recognition, and the Distinguished Service Awards alphabetically, and I ask again that as I read each name, please stand. I'll ask the audience again to wait till we've read all the names to support them and congratulate them. These students are Carter Hamilton Boyle, Aparna Rao, Tara Schwitter, Jeffrey Michael Ritter, Sean Gordon Monahan, and Jennifer Thayer Rosen. Join me in congratulating them. Thank you. Now it's finally time to individually recognize each of the graduates. We'll ask each of the graduates to come forward and be recognized and congratulated by Dean Boulding, Susan Chambers, and me. Would you please stand and step forward to congratulate the graduates? At this time, I'd like to ask Steve Mizuraka, Director of the MMS program, and Angela Eberts, Director of MMS Career Services, to come forward and read the names of our graduating students.
Carter Hamilton Boyle. Cameron Elise Williams. Usman Jazab Chaudhry. Farinda Gupta. Megan Judith Thomas. Jansu Achik. Jennifer Grace Elfino. Colin Stevens Baker. Edward Barrett. Matthew Berezo. Sonal Nikki Bhatia. Alexandra Belka. Ting Ting Chen. Xinyi Chen. Dax Christopher Cohan. Aaron Scott Cohn. Doreen Paris Coleman. Chris Crowell. Zeal Desai. Vasilios Demopoulos. Gilda Jagnina Doria. Rafael Dworek. Philip Ryan Farley. Brendan Fowler. Brandon Kenneth Gambucci. Joseph Anthony Gandelfo. Andrew McGregor Gates. Celine Gochi. Sankranth Sanks Gubi. Huang Thu Ha. Brian Cale Hammond. Jacob Huang. Nadia Iqbal. Anshul Jain. San Jian. Laura Franya Jones. Ryan King. Hunter Stephen Ramsey Knight. Kenneth Krieger. Ryan Lee. Samantha Leonetti. Shuangli Lee. Shinlin Lee. Waitao Liu. Stephanie Liu. Anki Liu. Nick Liu.
Siseko Malatati. Robert Ryan McDonald. Megan Elizabeth McGarry. John Douglas McKissick. Carol Mong. Alexander Miltony. Andrew Scott Mix. Shada Muhammad. Sean Gordon Monahan. Megan Montgomery. Roman Moser. Arlene Mercedes Munn. Brendan Paul Nagel. Catherine Marguerite O'Connor. Yuhan Pan. Iosif Papathanisiou. Benoit Paradis. Ha Tao Pham. Derek Phillips. Jorge Primo Planta. Aparna Rao. Anshul Rawat. Patrick Gorman Resch. Jeffrey Michael Ritter. Jennifer Thayer Rosing. Alexis Roussel. Jessica Michelle Rubin. John Charles Roosh. Megan Renee Russell. Asia Nicole Salazar. Tara Schwitter. Kirsten Nicole Scott. Noelle Scott. Ankit Seth. Seema Shah. Si Chao Som. Rishi Sridharam. Joshua James Stiffen. Julio Stewart. Griselda Puspa Sukamoro. Fong Sun. Christopher Nathaniel Svensson. Tara Joanne Tate. Savannah Taylor. Zen Tian. Oninye Udenza. Apita Anu Halakaka. Kelsey Elizabeth Bashan. Dion Wong. Shu Wong. Sheen Wen. Ricky Charles White. Rose Kin Mimi Wynn. Jack Wyatt. Xing Yu Xia. Suzanne Su. Xu Yuan. Zane Yuan. Syed Kamal Zadi. Zishen Zong. Yuan Zhao. Mengting Zhao.
Please join me in congratulating the MMS class of 2015. In a few minutes, we'll all convene in the Fox Center to celebrate this fantastic accomplishment. But first, I'd like to speak to the class. So if you could all please rise. Basically, I'd like to do the following. I'd like to thank you, and then I have some requests to make of you. So the thanks is, you've done a great job. And Russ talked about some of the things that you've done to make this place better and how you are so special. And with every graduating class, they're always asking this question, what makes us so special? And I think Russ did a great job of giving the direct answer to that question. But what you're really asking is not what makes us special, but are we your favorite class ever, and where do we rank? And so let me tell you, you are my favorite MMS class ever, and you rank at the very top. Now, you should not get upset if I say the same thing next year. You should be happy that those who follow you will improve on your legacy, but you're fantastic. And I really do thank you for all that you've done for the school. And it's appropriate, given that we're here on Coach K court, to use some of Coach K's language, which is, if two can act as one, then two are better than one. And if I summarize what it is that you've done as a class, it's the following. If 111 can act as one, they're better than 111 by far. And you have come together as one to create an incredible legacy, an incredible experience for each other and for us. And we couldn't be more grateful for everything that you've done to make this year memorable in every sense, especially the positive sense. And so we're very, very grateful for that. And in fact, Susan mentioned an African proverb, which is to go fast, go alone, to go far, go together. I actually believe that you've rewritten that, which is, when you have a great team like you've created, you can go fast and far. And that's what I expect of all of you. So thank you. Now let me get to the requests, because you know there's going to be stuff that I ask of you. So the first one is, you probably think this day is all about you. And in large measure, you are correct. But this day is also about all the people who got you here. And I want to be sure that you take the time to thank the people who've come here to support you, to thank the people who can't be here with you to support you, but the people who got you to this incredible place, because you are in an unbelievable place of privilege. And that's only come through others who have supported you. And so please, please take the time to say thank you repeatedly. The second thing that I ask of you is that you've done a great job in terms of connecting with us while we're here and doing everything you can to make sure that those who follow you will have an even better experience. And what I ask is, don't let that stop with graduation. Once you're a part of this community, you are a part of this community for life. So please stay connected with us after today. Come back often. Help those students who are now in your position to make sure that they have a great experience. And so please think about being here in a way where you can continue to give back. And so that's incredibly important. More importantly, perhaps, is please stay connected to each other. And the reason I say more importantly is this is the one you will most take for granted, and you should not. Because you're thinking, of course we'll stay connected with each other. We love each other. Why wouldn't we stay connected with each other? But I know from experience it takes work, it takes effort. Don't shy away from that work, that effort, to stay connected to each other, because you mean so much to each other now. Imagine what you'll mean to each other 50 years from now, having worked with each other, helped each other, been a significant part of lives for many, many years to come. And that's what you have in front of you. Please don't walk away from that possibility, from that potential, because it's an incredible potential. The last request is that you all have love and happiness. And what I really mean by love and happiness is, first of all, I want you to love the people around you just the way you've loved them here. Because if you love the people around you, you will support the people around you. You will make the people around you better, just like you've all made each other better, just like you've made us better. And so if you love those people, you will support them, and they will be successful. And through their success, you will all be successful. And so I wish you love. I also wish you happiness. Now, I think you've had plenty of happiness while you've been here. And so part of happiness is just fun. And I wish all of you to have fun lives, but I also wish that you have lives of not just fun, but of success and significance. And you'll have that success by making the people around you successful. And if you truly are happy in the sense that JFK meant when he said, happiness is the full use of one's talents along the lines of excellence. And so if you make full use of your talents, if you achieve excellence, and you make the people around you better, you will certainly live lives full of love, full of happiness, and full of significance. And so that's what I ask of all of you. Thank you so much. You've been just a fantastic class. With that, that concludes the graduation ceremony, with the exception that we all have to walk out. So if the students could remain standing and everyone else remain seated while we process out. Thank you all so much.